Yeah,
So, I mean, you
well,
have to be careful what you ask for, right?
no, for sure.
I mean, do people even realize that this 150-year chunk of time that comes up to this chunk of time, there's been no time in the history of the universe that's like this last 150 years,
Exactly.
where up until 150 years ago, almost everybody was so poor they couldn't move beyond their own village,
Mm.
and 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 then in 150 years we get trains and planes and automobiles
Yeah,
and computers and cell phones and um, things that no one could have ever conceived of prior to 1800, 1850, and I mean, it's just so weird that in
yeah,
the whole history of the world, and that we should have ended up getting born into this particular time period. It just seems very weird to me.
it is very strange. And the technology may grow exponentially, but we don't. We're still human beings. We're
Yeah.
the same human beings we were 1,000 years ago, and that's why I think we're not built for this life in many ways. So acting according to our nature is probably going to help. That's why I think a lot of people are seeing the value in community now and the value in face-to-face interaction. And yeah, just think about cell phones. And for example, my girlfriend, she has trouble sometimes keeping in touch with people over the cell phones because they're kind of there, but they're not really there. I mean, they're within our access, like a couple of taps, and you can like send a text message to them, but it's just not the same. And like you said, with the 150, that is really a limit. And so, yeah, I don't think we are built for this. So I try to keep things as human as possible. For example, I try not to even send as many texts. I just like send a voice memo or call people, which some people find annoying, but I think it's better in many ways. It's like, who still calls? And I'm like, I'd love to call. It's much easier.
I do think we need to get back to that. I have some friends that like to talk about deep things, but they like to do it over text. Well,
Not
so
for me.
having these really deep conversations on text is very difficult because
Yeah.
you know you're trying to answer deep questions, and whether you're doing it with voiceover or thumbs or fingers or whatever on a phone, it's like ridiculous. Um, and and when you talk to somebody, you can hear their voice and you can kind of tell, how's this going down? Are we still in relationship here? Because you can say things that, at least I mean, when I was growing up, that's the only way we had of communicating with each other, and our phones had cords on them, so you had to stay in the same room with your phone while you were talking. And but it was a sort of a meme that when you're in high school, you spend your whole evening on the phone talking with friends,
Oh
and
yeah.
parents would be so frustrated. You're just on the phone for 2 or 3 hours with different friends. Um, but at least you were connected to people.
Yeah. Yeah. And now so many people are alone, and the only connections are very superficial, if at all, if they're there at all.